Right guys, there have been so many requests to have the great man on the channel, and I'm delighted we've finally got JV
Stephen
on the channel. We're obviously here at the Crucible to get the rehearsing a bit for the final, so there'll be a bit of noise in the background. But when did you start commentating? How long have you been doing it?
I'll be honest with you, I think I only got the job because I was on the board of the association. I always remember someone said to me, he said, oh, good commentary and all that. I said, yes, who'd have believed that someone from Salford could commentate for the BBC?
Right.
And he went, oh, accents don't mean anything now. He said, no matter where you come from.
Right.
I said, oh, fair comment. I said, well, if you ever hear someone from Wolverhampton reading the 9 o'clock news, give me a ring. So I feel blessed that I've managed to create this little niche, you know, and not have to lose my accent.
Did you enjoy it straight away? Because I found it quite difficult, not being out there anymore and having to talk about it. And, I found it actually quite tricky trying to predict shots and stuff. So I don't know what it was like when you first started doing it.
Well, I always remember they gave me a 3-day trial. Right. And Nick Hunter was the producer at the time. He said, how are you enjoying it? I said, yeah, I'm having a good time. He said, well, we're enjoying what you're doing. He said, just want to say, we've already got one Ted Lowe. I was doing an impression of Ted Lowe. Maybe that's my problem. I just I mean, in snooker, I don't know if anyone ever, decided the way, you looked at and said, right, I want to follow that style. Was it Steve or something like that? I mean, for me, it was Spencer, and then when he came along,
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, in the start, it was Jimmy, obviously. When I went to see him play an exhibition, his cue action was different, he played shots that were different. But then when I wanted to be serious at the game, then it was like, you had to look to like Steve, because he was like the benchmark.
Forming the success, and of course, Jimmy, I've always said this about Higgins, the legacy that people leave. Without Alex, we might not have got Jimmy. Without Jimmy, we might not have got Ronnie. Yeah, the top players leave a legacy, as you say, because you want to see how they did it and why they were successful.
When did you first see Jimmy play? Did you straight away, what a talent this is?
I couldn't believe how
I can't believe how, you forget, you just think, when did you spot Jimmy? I didn't mean you were ancient. When did you first spot Jimmy? What's Jimmy now, 62?
62? Yeah, 62, Wow. I've known Steve since he was 14.
Wow.
I went to a snooker club. I used to play a few money matches, and there was a guy in Leeds Snooker Centre. Willie used to go and play for money. He'd give him 60 or 70 stars, Anyway, I'm playing him one day, and they had the boy or the youth billiards and snooker tournament, and Steve Davis was playing in it on the perimeter. Wow. And he didn't win the snooker, he won the billiards. How can you believe that?
So he must have stood out a bit, Steve, from the start. Because obviously, I'd imagine, like you said, Jimmy and Alex, yourself, the sort of characters, and maybe, I don't know, you like a drink, a bet, play cards or whatever, but Steve would be completely different, would he?
I think where he stood out for me, the technique. Yeah. It was perfect, that is the perfect way to stand, the perfect way to cue. Yeah. I know people have changed it slightly over the years, but that was the perfect way to play, whereas Jimmy was a bit more loose and Alex had a lot of moving parts. Yeah. But Davies was probably the first one you say, right, that's how to do it.
You've obviously commented on hundreds and hundreds of matches. Do you have one that sticks in the memory, or one that's like...
Well, I think there's a lot. I mean, I was sat in the balcony over there when Alex cleared up against Jimmy.
Right.
I mean, look, I always rooted for Alex, but by this time I was rooting for Jimmy because I wanted Jimmy to fulfill his potential.
Right, okay.
And then when he got in, and I could say to all the lads, he's finished now, he can't pot this, and the balls he potted. Yeah. So,
It's what I mean, it's probably one of the most iconic breaks here at the Crucible, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Just to the way, his reaction after it, looking at the box and everything. I mean, you just... I don't know, you look back at that era, I look back and it's like the gold in terms of, because obviously in every sport I think it's the same characters go. It's all about winning now, isn't it, rather than showing a bit of flair. I mean, walking in with a hat on and all that sort of stuff.
I've always said in those early days we were trying to sell the game. Yeah. We were trying to make it watchable, and I'm not saying that for any other reason. That look, you look at this, it worked, didn't it? You know, I mean, where the game has come from in 1977 to where it is today, it's just fantastic. All those parts, the Higgins, the Spencers, and yourself, and Ronnie, John Higgins, he's in my top 3 now of all time. Yeah. I ain't comparing eras. Yeah. But if John Higgins and Mark Williams haven't moved up to that top echelon of the greats in the game, then yeah, we're missing out.
I know. So I mean, this is probably a silly question. So you would obviously not want snooker to leave the Crucible.
I honestly think it'd be the worst thing that ever happened to the game.
Yeah. I agree.
An iconic venue. You could feel the atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah, when I've heard this week about moving it and all that, and I know there's been a lot of talk, I think every sport needs an iconic venue that you associate with the game.
Yeah.
You know, you got Wimbledon, tennis, the Masters at golf, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
So to lose the Crucible would just be dreadful.
And also players, you see how players can sort of just shrink before your very eyes when they play here.
Yeah.
When they play at some, I say soulless, but some just big venue where they put 2,000 seats in, I don't know, it doesn't, there's no sort of, it doesn't put pressure on them, I don't think. Even if there's more people, this is like a cauldron, isn't it?
And I think everybody that's, I mean, we're nearly at the back here, and yet we feel as though we're involved on the table. And that is the theatre that we want, and that is conducive to snooker, you know.
I must, talking about commentating, I must bring up the famous thing with you and Willie. Was it Mark Selby? I mean, obviously, I wanted you to swear and thing, but go ahead, talk us through the thing with Willie Thorne, the late, great Willie Thorne.
Well, let me tell you about the great late Willie Thorne. He was the laziest commentator I've ever worked in my life. I loved him dearly, but I mean, if you were there on a Saturday night, you'd be watching Strictly Come Dance and all that. So what was happening on the snooker table was a sideline, you know. Anyway, it's come through that this is going to be the longest session in the longest frame in Crucible history. And Willie's gone, well, we've just heard that this is going to be the longest frame in Crucible history. And then I thought, but normally you'd switch your mic down when you finger. Not Willie, he's gone like that with a mic, you see.
Right.
So I assume he switched off. This is a joke, isn't it? And I then have come out just talking to him. I've gone, I was hoping to get back to the room and watch a bit of racing on the telly. The way this is going, I'll be looking to watch effing Match of the Day. And it's come out. It's come out. Well, imagine my embarrassment.
Oh, can you remember the first time you said, "Where's the cue ball going"? Because we see people have got T-shirts and hats and everything now.
I know.
Where's the cue ball going?
It was Ted Lowe, I heard say it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. He might not have said it very often.
Yeah.
But if he saw the cue ball trickle into a pocket, he'd go, "Where's the cue ball?" You know. And I just thought I'd raise it up a notch.
Yeah. Ted Lowe was brilliant.
And also call it early. You know what I mean?
I remember
not when he's on the brink of dropping.
I remember one time I was winning one of the world titles because I watched it back, and Ted's commentating. He's going, "The world's #1 star." Like not snooker's now, that the world's #1 star.
No. He had his own way, Ted. And
when did you first see Alex Higgins playing then? When did he come on the scene?
1972, Higgins appeared.
Yeah.
And I watched all the matches.
Had you like nowadays, we maybe hear about some 13 or 14-year-old summer. Had you heard before he'd come over about this guy?
Well, apparently there was an Irish team played in Bolton. That's when, and the word got round, this young Irish lad. Yeah. And John Pullman, 10 times world champion, was presenting the trophies, and he had a game with their best player, which was Alex. Anyway, I'm in my snooker club. I now moved to Chorlton-cum-Hardy because the one in Salford had closed. And who walks through the door? Alex Higgins, world champion. And he goes, "Hello, babes, you want a game?" You know, to me, and I was chuffed, you know. Yeah. I'm playing the world champion. I'll give you 7. That's what he said, he gave me 7. We played 64 frames of snooker. 64.
Wow.
Doesn't matter what the score was. Yeah. I've got to be honest, I did finish in front. Right. But when he left, I also borrowed my cardigan because he was going in town. Can I borrow your cardigan? So I never got paid and he borrowed my cardigan. But I'll tell you what happened, Stephen, and this, not ruined my career, but spoiled it for about 18 months. When he walked out, I thought, I want to play like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had that effect on me.
Wow.
Just the way he moved around the balls, you know.
I'm sorry, I think we need to go down here, don't we? We need to get this picture done, I think. Yeah, we need to go down this picture and we'll come straight back up. So he changed the game then, Alex?
Yeah. I mean, he made it watchable. He made it exciting.
Yeah.
No matter how good Ray Ryan and John Spencer were, you needed that sprinkle of stardust. Yeah. You know, and I know there was controversy attached to it, but just the way he played, it was exciting, you know, and it was a great bonus for the game.
What would you say was your strength of your game? Were you a scorer, or was it tactical, or long game, or
I think
a bit of everything?
As I've said on the commentary, I think potting is the big thing.
Yeah.
I had this nickname, and Mr. Perfection, you know. I mean, positional cue ball control would have been my thing.
Okay.
You know? Jimmy used to do impressions of me when we were playing in a match in here. You know, if I wasn't perfect on the ball, it was the old arms like that. Lost 2 rolls of wallpaper. You know?
Well, I remember your favourite. You go, that's what you're famous for. That's a famous
because I wasn't absolutely inch perfect. You know? But it was a different game then. I mean, it was a completely different game, and the attitude. And I've always said, and you know this for a fact, you change the game as well. You know, you get people like Higgins play the game.
Yeah.
And then you change the game. And I remember just before you were commentating, when you came into the back of the commentary box, remember, and you said, it's getting like 9-ball pool. Okay? And I said, well, you started. Yeah, that was the modern way. You get an opportunity, open the balls and have faith in your ability, you can win in one visit.
Can you remember when you started playing snooker, when you first picked up a cue?
Yeah. I picked up a cue. Funnily enough, I've been doing these theatre nights with, and it just shows you the different eras. With Dennis and Steve, but Steve more particularly, and Ronnie. If you ask them where it started, Steve's dad used to take him to the snooker club. Yeah. Ronnie's dad used to drive him over to Ilford for him to practice with Ken Doherty.
My dad used to take me over
there. When I first went in the snooker club, or billiard hall as it was called then, at 12, I got home late one night. My father barred me from ever going in the snooker club again. So it was a different attitude then.
I mean, what were the snooker clubs like in those days? So I can't imagine, like, would they be pretty rough, would they, or?
Well, the one in Salford, I was lucky that there was one in Salford. Right, but no, I wouldn't say they were rough.
Okay.
They didn't serve alcohol.
Yeah.
But they were temperance, weren't they, from, when in the 20s, when they had the general strike.
But 12, that was young to be going in there.
I know, but it was on the corner, you know, you'd pass it going from school. So anyway, but when I left school, all of a sudden I'm getting me £3, 10 shilling a week.
Yeah.
I'm giving my mum £3 and she's letting me keep the 10 shilling. And then I'm now, because it's like, I don't know, there was a complete mindset that now you're working, you can go where you want.
Wow.
So I went in the snooker club, this was in the October. I'd sort of remembered how you hit the ball.
Yeah.
And in the April, I was a boys' champion of Great Britain.
Wow. How did Big Break come about? Because that was an iconic TV show. I mean, I did it 2 or 3 times. But
I've got to the end of my career, I'm missing blacks off the spot and everything else, so I'm thinking, what am I going to do, you know? And I get a phone call from the BBC, do you want to do this quiz show with Jim Davison? And the word has it that the main reason they asked me, because of these impersonations I used to do. So basically, I did it, never thinking about that. Anyway, within a year, we were getting Saturday night.
Prime time Saturday night, I know.
14 million viewers. It was unbelievable. But, as I've always said, it was the game, you know. We don't realise how popular this game is, you know, sometimes. We take it for granted.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the viewing figures for Big Break, the viewing figures we get at the snooker, you know. Yeah. This is an integral part of British culture, the game, you know. And that's another reason. The thought of moving it from here is, it'd just be so short-sighted.
I know. But John, it's been, I've got so many questions, but we can't keep you here all day. We've got to work. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure.
We'll do it.
We must do it again.
And I've got to say, when people say to me, who do you like working with best? I always say Steve, because he calls it as it is.
But the thing is, when I work with you, it's like, if there's drama, you get involved, and that's and because I'm next to you and you're saying that, I get goosebumps, like, because it's like, I know.
We want people to join us on the journey, don't we?
Absolutely.
I mean, and if nothing's happening but a tippy-tappy, you know, people are going to switch off. I don't want them to switch off. Yeah. So we've got to keep them interested. I have said a few times, it's time to go and get a cup of tea.
But John, an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Cheers.
Pleasure.